Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine, and you found my video of the 4 sketches from the December 2025 Creative Memories virtual crop. I will be showing you all 4 of my interpretations based on the collections you voted for on my community tab. So let's get to it. For sketch number 1, we are going to be using our Gingerbread Fun collection. Here is what we're going to be doing with it. Now, I will mention that I did cut 2 frames, one from our icing page, if you will, the one that has the red and brown with the green on the back of it. And I cut a second frame from Hot Fudge cardstock. We're going to be using the interior of the Hot Fudge and the exterior of the Gingerbread Fun one. The Gingerbread Fun frame is 1.5 inches, and the Gingerbread one is 1 inch because we are going to have a little bit of overlap so we can frame out our layout here, because the sketch looked like we had a bit of a frame going on. And then it also did have several 1 3/4 inch squares. And when I see that, I automatically pull out my square punch because it will punch a 1 3/4 inch square for you. For those, we are going to be using our red paper. It's the red icing paper, and it has the words on the back of it. And we also are going to be using the brown gingerbread cutout page with the candies on the back of it. For most of our photo mats, we're going to be doing 4x6 photo mats and 4x4 photo mats on this one. But first, let's get some adhesive going around our frame here, and I'm trying to decide if I want to use regular or repositionable. We'll go with the regular tape runner and just put a little bit here and there, going around close to the edges of our cardstock here. Really, you don't need a ton. It just, you want enough that it'll hold. And since I tend to scrapbook from a lot of these layouts I put together, I like to make sure that they hold because they don't immediately go into the album covers. Now that we have our adhesive on our cardstock here, I'm going to bring in my 0 centering ruler, run it across the bottom of my frame here at 1 inch, because I know it's 1.5 inch frame. I figured we'd have a 1/2 inch of overlap here. And then I need to just push down on this, make sure I'm 1 inch from this right and left edge as well, and lay down my cardstock here. Looks pretty good to me. And now we can start placing our elements on to our page here. So I have my photo mats. We're going to be using 1 4x6 and 2 4x4 on this one. We're going to start with our 4x6 mat up in this right on the corner, because we are going to be adding our piping bag kind of coming in at an angle, but it is going to go behind just a little bit. That'll help me. I'm going to bring it down about 1/4 inch and move that back. There we go. Right across the top there. And then our 4x4 square is going just ever so slightly over, again, about 1/4 inch over our 4x6, because I did have things layered, and you can pop this up if it bothers you. I know my tape, I go enough away from the edges that excuse me, that I shouldn't have a problem adding my photos later to my page. I have one of my 1 3/4 inch squares is just coming in and under here from this edge here. I have another one coming out from under this edge here, the left, and oops, if it doesn't stick to my finger, it'll stick to the page here. There we go. And finally, I need to get this one coming from this corner here. It's going to go over our red square as well. And then we have one final red square coming in over here. And again, it's just a little bit asymmetrical, but I think it works. It's kind of the sketch itself was a little bit not totally symmetrical either, sort of. We are going to, I guess, because I had them running this way, and so I'm mimicking some of it, but I'm repositioning some of my squares just based on what I like, and you can do the same on your page as well if you don't like what I'm doing. I also am, I guess I should mention, I'm turning the sketch a bit. We're going to actually run so like my photo placement, I guess, is kind of along the lines of the sketch. I don't know. My border strip, we're going to use one of the peppermint candy swirl border sticker just across the bottom of our page here. Maybe I should put it down before I put down my other note. We've got plenty of space here. We are going to run this along the bottom edge of our hot fudge cardstock here. So just through your page along the bottom here. And if you want, you can cut off this end peppermint if you feel like it's distracting, but I feel like it's okay. Our gingerbread guy that says "Catch Me If You Can" from our sticker set is going to be our title for this page. So I am going to pop this one up. Let me grab my foam squares. And I want to put this, one of the stars, the icing stars, also from our sticker sheet, kind of behind his hand a little bit. So let's see if we can actually stick this here. There we go. And then he's going to be coming in from this top edge here, not quite, there we go, not quite centered through the red, but part of the reason I picked some of the gingerbread people is because they have these little red accents on them, which brings back in our red that we have on our page here. And then we have another star coming in with our piping bag, and I already showed you the piping bag is going to be coming in from the side, but we are going to make it look like it's icing a star here from behind this mat just a little bit here, coming down. And the star shapes just repeat through both our pages a bit. Here is a closer look at this finished page. I will show you photo placement as soon as I get the right side done of our page. For the right side of our page, we're essentially setting up the same way. We have the same number of mats, the same number of 1 3/4 inch squares. I'm going to try to make sure I stay really close to the edge here with my tape runner. A little bit more this time. Fold that under. I went over just a hair. Bring back in my 0 centering ruler. Line it up again at 1 inch across the bottom. And then we'll go in 1 inch with our hot fudge again. I did the same exact frames as I did on the other side of the page. A 1 inch from the hot fudge and 1.5 inches from the brown and red icing page. And I need to double check because I was going to line these up next to each other so that way it looked like, so it's almost a herringbone, but it's where the colors in the pages line up nicely. I did check it using the same edging. I kind of went around and I was, maybe not, just checking the color. So you want it to look more like the herringbone. That one did the herringbone as well, but just double check when you line your pages up side by side if you're going to use this paper for your base. There's some easier to work with. I love this collection. There's some easier to work with pages, and there's some a little bit more of a challenge. And I feel like if you had an entire sheet of this icing page, it's kind of a lot. So I like that we were able to use the frames to break it up a bit, and it just seemed to work. Okay, now for this right side of our page, we are going to have our candy running through the bottom again. So let's go ahead and just do that real quick. Our other border from our sticker pack. And then we have our 4x6 going about a ½ inch from the edges at the top here. Our 4x4 is under this time. So again, I know I don't have a ton of tape at this corner, so I should be okay to get my photo on when the time comes. This one's going to be over a little bit. It's actually here. So these two are a little bit closer. And then they're going to be sightlined about evenly about that 1/4 inch or so. About a 1/4 inch under on the lower one and a 1/4 inch over on this upper one. And then our red squares are going down here. So this one's basically just lining up with this one, but a little bit lower, closer to the edge here, closer to our border here, but not exactly on top of it. This one is out in space over here a little bit, about 1/8 of an inch from the edge of our page. And this one is going to go under this other one, kind of like how we did it on the other side of the page. There we go. Okay, let's push everything down, and we're going to add a few stickers to this one as well. I have 2 more of our stars. I have our Gingerlicious, and then I have our gingerbread girl and boy. Because again, those red accents just really help with our repeating our reds through the rest of our page. It just helps tie everything together nicely. Ginger girl's going over here. Ginger boy is going in the bottom right, partially over our square down here. Gingerlicious is going to pop up, and it's going to go over part of our border sticker down here. Grab those foam squares again. So this one's going down here, kind of in between 2 of our peppermints here. And then our final 2 stars. One is going just essentially underneath our mats over here. Oops. Lift that one just a little bit. Here we go. So a couple of your points are underneath your mat. And this last one's going on our red square. All right, that is it for this one. Let me hold it up. And I will bring in the other side and we'll look at some photo mats real quick. Turning the single page sketch into a double page layout. This one is definitely more of a mirror-ish. Our second one is not going to be as mirror-ish as this one, but this was our sketch. Now, I did move the border down to the bottom. I maybe kind of followed the mat placement. I don't know. Probably not. It's just, sketches are guides, kind of like recipes for me. I'm not good at following recipes either, if that's helpful for any of you. But I love to give you all ideas of things you can do with the sketches. So for your photos, you can go 3 3/4. I don't have a 3 3/4 card, so I can't show you what it would look like with a 3 3/4 card, but I can show you with the 3.5 inch card. And so that's what I'm going to do for this quick demo. I have a 5.5 by 3.5 going in here. A couple more 3.5s. I mean, you could do this 3x4 as well if you want. I'll just pop that one there for now. And here's another 3.5 by 5.5 going on to our 4x6 mat again. You can add that extra 1/4 inch wherever you like as well. I'll show you with the other photo. Oops. There we go. So that's what it could look like with photos on it. Now, can you get a 4x6 photo onto this layout? Yes. You can easily, if I can actually hold this box, I'm just going to put it up here a moment. You can take these off of here. You can put a 4x6 photo easily here, just running through part of this mat and using it sort of to frame it out a bit. And then you could easily add just a smaller one, even coming down over in this space here. You can add really small photos to your boxes, but you can also use your square punch to punch out photos and just kind of sprinkle them throughout as well. So there's definitely options. I always try to show you all a couple of just different options that you can do. This one can go here. You can add another one in the top. And I don't really have a problem with having extra just photo mat showing, or what was originally going to be photo mat. I could easily squeeze this over a little bit and put a smaller photo here as well. Let me see if I can find that card again. So here you can fit in a 3x4 over here with 2 4x6 photos. And just, don't be afraid to not be constrained by, even if you already have mats on your page, doesn't mean you have to exactly fit your photos into them. Let's get to sketch number 2. For sketch number 2, we are going to be using the Tropical Garden collection. I have pulled in the Tropical Flowers Chain Border Maker cartridge, as well as the Hummingbird and Flowers Decorative Border Punch as well. Here is a look at our sketch of what we're going to be doing with this one. And like I said, whereas the Gingerbread Fun sort of mimicked each other, they were a little bit more of a mirror. This one, I'm essentially stretching the sketch so we can turn it into a 2-page layout. And this is going to be also a little bit of a homage to my Miami upbringing a little bit. We are going to be using some of the palm tree paper that has the dark olive palm fronds on the back of it. I pulled the aqua leaf paper, the one with the pink dots on the back of it. And also, originally I was going to use this one because I thought it tied in some of my colors, but we're actually going to use this abstract leaf, palm leaf paper as well on this page. I am going to use the raspberry pink cardstock as the base for both sides of this layout. And I want to place my strips first. Now, my strips are 1.75 inches by 12 inches. This is different than what the sketch says because I like to give you all different options than what is on the sketch most of the time. And sometimes it just speaks to me a little bit more in a different size ratio than what you see on the sketches. And, I like to give you some extra options. How's about that as well? There's nothing wrong with having extra ideas of things you can do with sketches, right? I kind of said it in the Gingerbread Fun one. But I guess this month was just a little bit extra creative for me. I've got a little bit crazy with my tape runner here and it's sticking to me everywhere. Both hands. Hang on. Ah, okay. There we go. Sometimes it goes smoother than other times, huh? Not that I'm complaining, because I'm not. It's just life happens. Bring back in my zero centering ruler, and we're going to be running our strips under the palm tree. Now, this is something where they ran theirs over in the sketch, and I looked at it over, and I didn't like it as much with what I'm doing to elongate the sketch. So I'm going to show you real quick what it looks like over. I'm just going to gently place these. Let's hope it doesn't stick on me because I don't want to pull apart my paper. But you can see it really breaks it up. But going under, we're essentially creating just these really long lines, which I love. And we are going to go, of course, I put my tape down and then I put my ruler down, which wasn't helpful. So hang on. Who needs glue gone when you have a multi-purpose tool? I might need a little bit to clean up later, but let's keep this show on the road here. So we're going 3/4 inch from the top and the bottom of the page. And again, you can work on your 13 by 13 cutting mat. I love my zero centering ruler. I've not had a chance to try out the new ruler that just came out with the mats. So we'll see if I get into that one later. But for now, my zero centering ruler is one of my favorite tools. As you all know, if you've watched my November Creative Crew video. And in fact, I've already used 2 of my favorite tools actually I use all 3 for this layout. Go figure. 3/4 inch from the top of the page as well here. Get those placed down. Remember, these are 1 3/4 by 12 inches. This piece is 4.5 by 12. Again, I'm switching up the sizes a little bit. This one is going right to the edge of our paper, and you'll start to see where I'm going maybe a little bit with some of this. I have a 5-inch by 7.5-inch sheet here, and I'm going to scoot over my sheet so I can fit in my ruler because I want to find this 0 here. Remember, I said it was 5 inches, so I just need to go to 2.5 inches on either side of my 0 to know I have my paper lined up. And I can see I have a little bit of difference in my cardstock here, so I want to make sure I'm lining up more with this left edge. And I think, nope, that's not quite right. 2.5 is up a little. Sometimes, there we go. Just that I've got a little bit of space in here where Creative Memory sometimes does have a little bit of an allowance with some of their cardstock, so it was throwing me off a little bit. What can I say? Now I have a 7-inch tropical flower chain border maker cartridge. I did punch this in pumpkin because I just really, for whatever reason, these flowers just spoke to me in pumpkin. And it's what I did my short in. So I know I had one for the other side as well. When I punched it, I did pull, there's a little extra loop going up from this flower here. And you know what? It's okay. I have my end one here. We're going to have a little bit of space on either side, about a quarter of an inch, and it's fine. It's perfectly fine on the page as it is without being completely complete. I just used a scrap, a scrap of my pumpkin. I had, I think, a 12-inch piece, and then I had a partial that I just used to do that other. And now I think you could see I'm using my, um, I guess it's the index card equivalent for the mats now, because I used to have a sticker on the mat packs, but then when they switched to the 4.5 by 6.5 mats, we're getting essentially a index card for our mats now that show all the mats in the mat pack, and on the back it's white. And I'm using that over here as a photo mat. It's pre-cut. It's really nice, high quality paper, cardstock, matte paper, whatever they use for it. It's just a really nice weight, and I thought it would be a really great, because we have the white in the palm tree, we can bring back in the white as well here. Okay, now what are we going to put on this page? Oh, and I have a story to tell you all. But you're going to have to hold on until closer to the end for my story, because you have to see both pages together. I am bringing in our Paradise stickers, hummingbird embellishment, and look, there's basically a matching sticker to our hummingbird embellishment. I can't actually, maybe I can do it this way for you all. There you go. And then we also have tropical and we have paradise. So our tropical is going to come up from this top left edge, but I'm going to, before I place it down, this orange flower, because like I said, orange, the pumpkin, and you have pops of orange within your stickers as well. This flower is going up here instead of the dot for the eye. We're going to add just that little pop of orange back to the top part of our page and bring it up here, coming across tropical, closest to the top, because you will probably place some photos here. Bring in our hummingbird sticker, coming in up over our tropical here, hanging out with the palm trees. And then our paradise, we're just going to pull our letters, and I know they're going to kind of disappear a little bit, but you know what? I kind of like it that way. Or I guess we could put it up. No, it has to go in here. And I don't know why. It's just the way it just feels right for me. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get our letters. We're going to get them spaced here. We have to pop out pieces, which I might need to grab my multi-purpose tool for, but we're going to go closest to the top, because then that'll also give us a little bit of extra space. But I know we've got aqua on aqua. You can pick a different color if that's what you want, but don't worry, it's still going to show up. Or if I can get these, oops, I forgot my A. Yep, these little pop outs. Grab my multi-purpose tool, because otherwise, and I'm just gonna, I guess I'm just gonna leave them stuck to my P-A-R-A, stuck to my fingers, because, and you can use your multi-purpose tool to help with the placement of these as well. It's just such a handy little tool to have. All right, D, I, You want your letters kind of close because you do want to be able to read it as the word. Okay. And then our other hummingbird is going to go over here, up in the top here. And I'm going to pop this one up. I feel like I wanted this one kind of going more this way, just through the top here. All right, that is the left side of our page. Here's my little tropical with the sticker over the eye. And there is my spacing on the bottom as well. Let's do the right side of this page as well, and then we'll be done. For the right side of this page, I have two more of our aqua strips. These are 1 3/4 again. And I also have a larger piece of our muted palm frond paper that has the aqua with the little orange dots around it on the back of it. So I'm going to go ahead and put some tape runner on these things. This piece is 7 inches by 12 inches, the muted palm paper. I'm going to bring my ruler back in. We're going to do the 3/4 of an inch again from the bottom and the top because we do want them to run evenly through both of our pages. And we're going to figure rather, I mean, I could also bring back in the other side of the page, and I probably will once these are down, but I'm going to go ahead and just get these placed with the ruler first, and then we'll double check it. I'm not pushing down hard. I don't want my tape runner to stick quite yet, but at least we're getting things placed. So it'll be ready to push down when we double check it against the other side. Let's hope my ruler didn't knock it. Move this so I don't stick anything to it. And let's see here. There's the top, there's the bottom. Bottom looks good. The top does look like I knocked it just a hair, doesn't it? Oops. Sometimes it goes smoother than other times. Okay. Double check. Should be right here. I want to make sure I'm basically straight across because it looks like, yep, this one's not going straight. There's 3/4, there's 3/4. Yep. Okay. There we go. And now our 7-inch paper should go right in here and between, and this is where we see if we actually do get those lined up. I'm okay with it going over just a little bit. And you know, we have some words in this paper, so I'm going to make sure my words that you can actually read them, I guess, if somebody actually wants to look that close, and we'll probably be covering it with photos anyways, but sometimes that little extra attention to detail helps. Let's get this little bit of pink covered. You can see that right side was the problem on that one. Bring this over. Okay. I'm going to get this. So it should overlap just a hair. There we go. That's where I want it. So you don't see any of the extra pink. We have that pink stripe on the other side, but not on this side. All right. We ready for our mat? We're going to be taking it easy with a little bit of sun and fun. I'm going to add this embellishment to the top. And then we're also going to add our extra borders here in just a moment. But I wanted this up here. And yes, you could pop it up as well, but I am not going to this time. I do have our Lagoon Shimmer, Hummingbird and Flower border. All of our birds are going to go that way. And then the Pumpkin Tropical Flower Chain border maker. Let's add some repositionable tape to these. For our mat, this is one of our 4.5 by 6.5 mats. I did say with the palm tree, taking it easy. It does have kind of a orangey red on the back of it. So if you're looking for it in the mat pack, it is pretty easy to find. It's the only one I think with the palm trees on it. Here we go with our Lagoon Shimmer. Now you see why I picked the tropical on the other side, because it goes kind of where our border, you see it, but it's kind of not super dramatic. And that's what I wanted for both sides of our layout here. And then our blossoms go across the bottom, our flower chain. Here we go. All right, let me bring in the other side of the layout. We're going to bring in the sketch again, and I'm going to tell you my story of what this layout reminded me of growing up in Miami with these pink jazz, what is it? Pink raspberry cardstock. Now, y'all know it's not beyond me to rename a cardstock, so I'm trying to be good and actually give you the correct name for the cardstock. But here was our sketch. So you can see with the left side, I kind of did follow maybe a little bit more, but we're also going to have a little more flexibility. So instead of this 3.5-inch photo, you can do a big 4.5 by 6, but we can also put a smaller photo on the left side. Okay, my story, before I get too distracted thinking about the pink raspberry. There were 2 weeks back in May 1983 where two artists, Christo and Jean-Claude, took some pink fabric, and it was like a floating polyethylene fabric, and in Biscayne Bay, they surrounded 11 islands with this pink fabric. And Miami, it kind of took it by storm. I remember my parents driving us out to look at this Biscayne Bay with this pink fabric floating around the islands. But as soon as I saw this layout, all of a sudden that memory came back to me. I just never know. I don't know if they have any photos of it. I may have to find out if they do. And I have the perfect layout for it, but of course I also have for other Miami, even some of my New Zealand photos have like that, just a little Art Deco-y influence to them. I just feel like this really kind of speaks to a little bit more of that Art Deco, the Miami vibe, the Miami feel to me. Where are we going to put photos on it though? Let me get out my little box here. Here's a 6x4 coming in. We can also put another larger 4x6 here. Of course, you can also do a 4x4 as well, but you can also sneak in a 4x3 down here as well. So you can get 2 photos there. You can also easily, like I say about not coloring in the lines, bump up and bump down and do 2 photos with just this one mat as well, because of course the mat has that little bit of white pop. It's just going to pull in from here, but your photos are going to be what's really grabbing the attention. And on the right side, of course, let's pull in some 4x6s as well. We can add, I can find these little, you can add a smaller one, this 3.5 by 5, 5.5 here, and it can go over part of this mat, or you can also even add another one over this mat if I can find it in my box here, here's another 4x6. So you can add two 4x6s. You can cover up your, you don't have to add the sun and fun. You can just cover up your palm trees and then pop up even a 3.5 by 5.5 here, or bring in a 4x4 and pop it up too. Again, you can work above and below as well. There's a lot of flexibility with this one. I love kind of having these mats where you can just, leave a hummingbird and go here and do a couple horizontals. It really, or go below it and just go down here. However you really want to work the page so it works for your photos, and do it. There's a ton of options with this one. I don't even know if y'all needed me to show you photo mats with this one, but let me know in the comments. Do you like me showing you the photo mats? My interpretation of where photos could go, because we know it's not always going to be with the conventional. We'll put it that way. Sketch number 3 is our Noteworthy Days sketch for this month. You're going to be getting an extra video out of me because we're going to use up the very last of the Noteworthy Days stickers. Probably on another layout, maybe a card, because we do have this menorah here and I really don't have much else to go with it. I'll check the clear stickers or word stickers that go with this collection and see if I have something else I can pull in for it. But this is what I have left. Amazingly enough, we're almost done with the entire collection's worth of stickers. And I will also do a compilation video for you all as well to show you all of my projects from this year with Noteworthy Days. It's a big stack. It's kind of amazing. All right. We are going to use the Ornaments decorative border punch. We're also going to use the Road Trip decorative border punch with this layout. And I also, instead of bringing in circles this month, I'm bringing in one of our custom cutting system ovals. It is the smallest oval with the red blade. Let me just put this back on my ring so I know where I can find my oval later. Set my blade aside. Here is our sketch for this month. Up close if you'd like to get a screenshot of what I've done with this one. We will be using the navy polka dot paper. It's the one with the white background and the navy dots on it. It has the darker green tonal background to it. I believe this was in the tonal pack. I also am bringing in 3 of our striped papers. I did cut them so where they're going to run vertically through our page. We have the navy, the dark green, and the darker brown. I've cut this at, our navy piece is 4 inches. It has the caramel background on it. Our brown is 1 inch. It has the lighter blue on the back of it. And our darker green has the light blue polka dots on the back of it. That is a 2-inch piece. So 1, 2, and 4. Even numbers this time, I know. I like to mix it up a bit. What can I say? That should not surprise any of you who have watched my channel for any amount of time. Sometimes I can conform to some of the norms, maybe. I don't know. All right, let's get rolling here. We're going to go ahead and place our navy strip on the outside here. And then our 1-inch strip with the brown, and then our green. Yep. So 1 inch is going right up next to the blue. Oop. Wait, uh-oh. Until I ripped my paper underneath just a little bit, but I didn't get that straight, so it's just going to be what it's going to be because we're going to cover it up anyways. Let's put it up flush to the other one. There we go. It'll straighten out. It's okay. And then our green is going in right next to it. Maybe sometimes the trimmers get it straighter than other times, and I wonder if when they put out the new one, if we'll get actual straighter cuts even. I love the trimmer, don't get me wrong, it's the best trimmer on the market. I used a different trimmer before I used this one, but every once in a while your papers aren't 100% straight. What can I say? All right, so I'm bringing in my oval. I did the red blade on the outside of the smallest oval. It's the one that has the lighter brown with the decoration on the back. And we're using the brown, dark brown stripe paper for our mats, the one with the medium blue on the back of it. Okay, let me put these two down first. These are going horizontally on our page here at the bottom. Just coming through. This one is going to be pretty quick and easy. 4x6 mats. Just in case I didn't say it, about 1/4 inch apart. And you do want it to run through the same line there. Our ornament, it's going to become an ornament. Our oval is going here. So it runs, the blue just works. I mean, like, I don't know, I just was between the last layout and this one, I guess I wanted to layer colors. I have a gold shimmer from our ornaments punch. I'm going to put repositionable tape on. And I have the tops of the ornaments going towards the edge here. And I'm covering up the seam a bit. I can pick it back up and get it to go straight for me. So it probably doesn't matter that we had just a little bit of white come through, because it's not going to show once we place our border down. And fix that just a little bit. Just a little bit of a speed bump here, I guess, if you will. Oops. Under the border, not under the other. There we go. Okay. And now let's bring in some of the stickers that we are going to use. And this is just for the left side of the page. We had a pile. There were a lot of stickers this one on this month. So we have quite a few of the little, we've used these shapes before. It's these little kind of stars, but they've got little points to them. I have 3 of those on the side of the page. I have the Hello December. I have the car with the tree on top of it. I have our Very Merry Christmas. I have some presents. And I have our gold ornament. I'm going to start by placing the blue small present in the bottom corner here. And then the larger pile of presents is going over. Oh, I also have the lights as well. This one's going a little bit higher. And then we're going to pop up our Very Merry Christmas. And it took me a little bit, but I think I'm pretty happy with this one. It's oops, I went a little bit too far over with that one. It's a 3M product for a foam tape, and it is photo safe. It's linked in my description box with this video. It's not quite as poofy, I guess, if you will, as our actual foam squares or the old Creative Memories foam tape, but I am still searching to see if I can find one that's a little bit tighter. It's actually a lot easier to pull the backing off of this. It's actually, I'm pretty happy with this one. I found this one on Amazon. And like I said, I'm going to continue my quest to try to find one that does have a little bit more substance to it. But for now, it is working out just fine for me. So our Merry Christmas is going over both of our presents down here just a little bit. And I'll hold it up to the camera for you all in just a bit. We're going to put our lights on here, kind of following the line of our oval a bit. Our ornament is going to be the top of our oval, kind of creating an extra little ornament effect to our oval. And you can always lift it up just a little bit, or you can cut another oval from your photo so where you can run it just underneath where the gold is. We have our car with our tree on it that's going over here in our space next to this ornament. Let's see here. Kind of want it on the green. I'm going to add one of my, oops, did that come off? No, it's not off the back. It's just I cut this one kind of tight just to make sure when I was designing that I could figure out where I actually wanted to put those. And our Hello December up here, I think I'm going to pop that one up as well. And I'm going to use the foam tape that way. This one won't look low and the other one won't look super high. It'll be the same height across my page, and it also won't make my page protector wrinkly. Oops. Let's go here. So our Hello December is going up in this space up here. And then we have two more stars coming in just on either side. Now we have the polka dots. The stars are just adding a little bit of extra interest, I guess, if you will. And I said I was going to use up every sticker, so let's use up every sticker. Here is the left side of our page. You can see our Christmas, and there's the top. I did not put it following the same line of our oval here. I did angle it just a little bit. All right, let's get out the right side of our page. For the right side of our page, we are going to use the same base as we used on the other side, the navy polka dot. I do have another 1-inch brown stripe and another 2-inch green stripe here. And we're going to place our brown stripe an inch up from the bottom of our page here. Get this going here with my zero centering ruler again. And just place that one down, going across the bottom this time. And then our 2-inch green stripe is going to go on top of the brown stripe on this side. Now here is our other oval. I did the same paper with our oval. The red blade on the outside of the smallest oval, and I'm going to wait to place this when I put the other ones, but I put the tape runner on so I could get it off of my mat, because what I did was I took one sheet of paper, and it was a scrap. I punched our road trip from navy cardstock, and then there's this one that I've been calling the desert floor all year. It has the dark green with the navy polka dots on it on the back side of it, and I punched just the pine tree part of this punch to give it a little bit of an extra accent, and I'm alternating the pattern on both sides of the paper as I'm placing these down onto where the pine trees are. Just felt like it needed that little pop of green, and we could have probably used the green stripe, but it's going to be so close to the green stripe that I thought this should work. You know, maybe some of our pine trees are dressing up for Christmas with the desert floor side, but you know, and it's okay. You could use your dark green cardstock if you want to make all of your pine trees green. And you can see, I'll show you closer. I didn't line these up exactly. I just placed them. Am I done? Just placed them where I thought they looked good. So here's the back side. You can see where I didn't get it exactly. I just offset a little bit with most of them. And I'm okay with that. You place yours how you want yours to be. This is going to go on top of our, so I'm putting essentially it over the seam again, covering up any white space with this bottom part of our punch. And then I have two more of our 4x6 brown stripe paper mats for more photos on this side of the page. Oh, got away from me a little bit. It happens. It's okay. So these two are going vertically through our page. Place this one first. And then the second one is going to be close to the first one. I feel like I'm a little bit crooked. There might be. But I also need space for my ornament again to come in from the side. So I'm going to scoot those over just a hair to leave a little more side for, or a little more flexibility on this right side for flexibility with our photo. Okay. I'm going to angle this just a little bit more, kind of like how we had it on the other side. There we go. All right, so for this side, we don't have as many stickers. I know, shocker. We just have the green ornament and we have one more star. And our last star is going to go over here. Just kind of above as an accent above our border. And then we have the mint colored ornament that's going to go on this side. So essentially complementing our borders on both sides with the ornament choices for the top of our ovals. Let me bring back in the left side of our page and I'll bring in the sketch, which is already stuck to my other side here. Okay, I'm going to need to flip this over and trim a little bit of my border here. I went over just a hair, so I'm going to just line these up so we can take a quick look and keep moving on here. All right, here's our sketch. So they did have the two horizontal and the two vertical with the two, but I used circles and I used ovals. So I didn't change a ton with this one. It's just a matter of accenting where you would like to accent. Bring in my photo cards. And since we have 4x6 photo mats, you're going to be using your 3.5 by 5.5 photos. You know, I never let it be said that I haven't done something like this and brought one down and brought another one over, but this one seems pretty straightforward. I think y'all can handle your photos for this one. You can add an extra one up here as well if you would like. I think that's the only extra one I really see where you can add one. Okay, let's get into layout number 4. For layout number 4, we're going with Copper Canyon 2 collection. It's what you all voted for on my community tab on YouTube here. Here is our sketch, and on this sketch, I have just I am opting to let the paper do some of the heavy lifting for it because we have this, like they have a 5 by 12 piece and a 7 by 12 piece running through behind some of their photo mats. And when I looked in this collection, look at what I found. This gorgeous page we're going to use on the base of both sides. It's a little bit ombre. It has the lighter green because we're going to be using the darker green background to it, but make sure you find the one with the ombre on it. And our green edge of our ombre is going to go towards the middle, towards our right side, because our right side is going to have the green towards the left. And I love it when the designers are designing things with no idea that they're eventually going to work out nicely for me to use in the virtual crop. I also pulled out my rhythm blade because I thought we could use a little bit of extra movement through our layout. And when you cut with the rhythm blade, you do need to take off, your paper edge. But then I wound up with these really two cool beveled pieces that I will probably use for another layout later. But I just wanted to show you those pieces are definitely usable. Don't get rid of them. And we are going to start with, I have a 3/4 of an inch by 12-inch piece that I used the paper that has, is it the back side of this one? No, it's got this lighter brown on the back of it. So it's almost like a rust colored, if you will, but that's 3/4 of an inch by 12 with the rhythm blade here. And then I also did a second strip that was 2 inches from the same paper. And I am going to be placing this piece first, but I want to also tell you I have a 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 mat from the darker green. It has that darker copper on the back of it. And I have a second one that's 8.5 by 6.5. And we are going to use the entire sheet of this paper throughout both sides of the layout, which is also nice. I was trying to help us not have any extra scraps if we could of that one. Just as I started doing cutting, it just worked out that way. I'm going to go ahead and place some tape runner on these strips first because we need to place this 3 1/4 by 2 inch one first. And this one, I deliberately cut it where I didn't cut it, but I'm placing it deliberately with the white. I had, like, there was one white speck, and that one's going up towards the top. We're actually going to cover up this little bit of white because we have enough white in the background, and this is dark and just one of my color things, I guess. So this piece is going to go with the green towards our other green, an inch above the bottom of our page here, lining up with my ruler here, and it's going to go right at the edge. Just place down here. And then our 3/4 of an inch is going slightly over. So you can see how we have these straight edges. I'm okay with the straight edge here. I'm not as okay with the straight edge there. So we're going to cover that up just ever so slightly with our 3/4 of an inch strip going up through our page here. And yes, we do have some white running through this as well. It's okay. It was just this one little poof that kind of threw me off. Let me get these other two a tape runner because I need these to be able to place my other piece. This one is going to be an inch from the top of the page. So it's, I don't know. I guess I just felt like I needed to measure a little bit more this month. The sketches were a little bit more specific, I guess, this month also. So we're about 1/4 of an inch from the right edge of our paper and an inch from the top. There you go. And now this one, it can put right in here. Oops, I almost put it upside down, didn't I? And hang on, because I have this embellishments. That's what's going to cover this up. A good life. But I need to make sure it's over. So that way we're actually going to cover a little more of that other white. Just coming in here. Okay. And then our 3 3/4 by 5 3/4 is about 1/4 inch from the bottom of our page. It's kind of centered. We can actually bring down our rulers so we get it. Since we're lining up so many other things this month, we might as well go ahead and line this one up too. Okay, so I didn't exactly use my zero the way I usually do, but close enough. We have about an inch on each side, 1/4 of an inch here, and about 1/2 an inch there. We're having some weather changes here in San Antonio, and I have been just allergic to everything here. It reminds me of our first time here. I was allergic to everything the first time. Not much has changed. We are going to put our copper embellishment heart up here on this left side. The Good Life, like I said, is going to come in over here. Just using a little bit of my repositionable tape. Until I'm getting towards the end of this one. It's a little bit harder to maneuver sometimes when you get towards the end. And again, I use the repositionable so I can just take my multi-purpose tool and lift this up if I'm going to have a photo going under there. Finally, we have our border stickers. I'm bringing in both of them. We'll see how we do there. They are going to run both through both sides of the page. And I want it to... Yeah, we're going to run it this way. A lot of times I'll run it towards the other page, but not this time. So we're going to just pull the backing off. We're going to run it across the top of our mat, just through where you can't see any more of the edge of our mat. And you can wait to do this until you have your photos, because it is a little bit harder to lift the stickers. But I'm running my scissors just right up the edge with this photo mat here. And then we're going to take this other part, we're going to start it with our, I know we're going to cover up part of our rhythm blade that we cut, but actually we can run it just below. No, we need to run it along here. Actually, I'm going to put it just a little bit above. There we go. So you can see you still have your rhythm blade showing, and I'm just going to use the rest of what's on the sticker. There you go. Because my measurements are slightly different anyways, they used really thin. So they did 1/2 inch, I did 3/4. And so they do have where they're showing to run the pieces above and below. But I'll show you where we're going to put photos also coming up. And I just love, we can also journal in this lighter space as well. Oh, I forgot to mention some of my journaling in my other ones, but you all know there's always space for journaling. For the right side of our page, again, that ombre page is going to be the base with the green going towards the other green. And it's that sea green, lighter green, because we're using the rest of our darker green sheet on as photo mats on this side, as well as using up a couple of the extra strips because, you know, why not use those if we have them on a page that it works on, and saves having scraps later trying to figure out what to do with them. I have another 3/4 of an inch by 12-inch strip using the rhythm blade. And then I have our rest of our 2-inch. So this one is 2 inches by 6 inches. So when I cut this one, I did cut the 6 inches first. Then I cut the 3 1/4, and then that extra little piece that went under our this Good Life, that was the scrap from what was left of this piece. Bringing back in my ruler, we are going to go an inch from the bottom of the page again, starting with this 6-inch piece. And this again is going to go from the edge of our page. There we go. And then we're going to add our 3/4 of an inch strip running up through our page, just going over that straight edge ever so slightly. And we have 3 5.5 by 3.5 mats that are going to run just a little bit over our 3/4 inch mat, or sorry, our 3/4 inch strip here. Figure out what I'm looking at mats, but I'm talking about the strip. And we should have about a 1/2 inch from the edge of our page here coming down. So let's see if that, there's going to be about 1/4 of an inch in between each one of our pieces here. So I probably should have started at the bottom because the bottom has the better 1/4 inch marking at the top of this one. You wind up with a little bit of a different look because you have the markings that run along the other edge. Okay, 1/4 of an inch in between. We'll actually center it a little bit. So it's going to have about 3/8 in between both of these, above and below. Okay, and I'm okay that we're going over our strip a little bit. Don't worry, it's okay. We have another strip that this is a 5.5 inch by 1.5 inch. I have my other border sticker. I have Capturing Life. That was a sticker from our set. I have a whole lot going on here. I have the rest of our... Okay, so I have one of our embellishments that says Adventures. That's going to be across the bottom of our page. We are going to run this one. I'm going to start with the border sticker first, and then I'm going to talk about some of where the rest of the placement of these pieces are going to go, because we had one last scrap as well. This is an embellishment as well. One last scrap. It was 3 3/4 by 5/8 of an inch. It was a scrap. If yours isn't exactly the size, don't worry about it. We're just using it as a little bit of a highlight, a decorative element on our page. So, if you cut slightly differently than I did, don't worry about it one bit. You can still use it, or you can choose to not use it. Up to you. Cutting this off at the edge of my page here. I'm going to add my Adventures to the bottom with my repositionable tape. Oops. And yeah, definitely getting towards the end of that one. We're going to eyeball center this one. Yes, I could pull my ruler back out, but I'm not going to. I'm about 1/4 inch from the bottom here. And this one, I'm going to put some tape runner on, as well as this one. Our 2 little scraps. Oops. And I just stuck that to there. Okay, so our photo is going to come in from the edge here, and this is going to be essentially a partial photo mat for basically almost just about any size photo you want to add this way. This one is going up in the top with our Capturing Life above it. So here's capturing life. This is going to go right around here, kind of centered. But like I said, it's basically going to be almost like a floating shelf for our capturing life. And then I wanted these two to come in from behind. These are part of our copper transfers. And if you weren't lucky enough to catch them, I'm sorry. They went so fast this year. All right, I'm going to run this one up at the top. You're going to need a multi-purpose tool for this. It's run a lot like our, if you saw my gingerbread layout I did for the Creative Cruise finale for December, this essentially works the same way. You place it down where you want it on your page, pull the backing off first, and then you rub it with your multi-purpose tool. Uh-oh, I rubbed it a little bit too hard. So let's see here. Just rub with your multi-purpose tool gently to get the copper to come out onto your page is what you want. And yes, there is a learning curve with most of these things. It's been a while since I've used these, so let's see how I did here. Did I get it? It's a little bit of a delicate flower here. Literally. So make sure you highlight where those flowers are. Okay, that's coming nicely. That one's staying. I think I got it, just not moving it. As you pull, should help you figure out what else you need. And there we go. Oops, let's see if my other piece is going to come off okay. Whew, yeah. All right. So that's one part of that. And then I have the other part. So I kind of want to see the bows just a little bit. So that's going to go there, coming over. Now that I have that first one placed, I'm going to bring this one over here, just a little bit coming out from behind our capturing light. Now I just need to eyeball where I'm coming in from my top here. I think I got it, but I may just try to do this. So be careful not to touch the copper part when you're removing the backing, or else you may wind up with some of your transfer coming off on your fingers, which is something I learned with the other transfers, the Craft Happy transfers. And this, you're just going to wind up with some of the white coming off maybe. And that's, it's okay because obviously I did too much on the other side. So if you rub to the point where you're starting to get some of the white up, don't worry about it. It seems like this one is a little bit more forgiving. And there we go. Lift. Let's see if this is coming out nicely. Yep. Okay, whoops. I'm on my little delicate flower. Again, these little bulbs are, there we go. You just have to finesse it a little bit there. Now, to pop up or not to pop up, I think I might not. Like I said, I kind of want it to look like it's on the shelf, like a floating shelf here. And there we go, capturing life. And then we also have our day that I'm going to place below if I can actually pick it up here. Goodness gracious, sometimes it's easier than other times, as you all know. Working with the delicate flowers, my repo tape is starting to run out. That's okay. So our day is just going to come up here with our capturing life, running through this other part of this accent that we had on our page. And so yes, we do have a little bit of our border sticker left. We can use that when we use those rhythm bits that we had also that were scrap. Here is the right side of our page with those gorgeous copper pieces. And just if you don't have these two, look in your embellishment pack. There are some foil copper accents in there as well that you can substitute in. But since I still had the transfers, I wanted to use them because why not? You got to use it, right? And here we go. So pretty. This one I think might be my favorite this month. Here's our sketch. You can see where that fits, this angular photo here, or idea for the photo. And then I just took and added a photo down below as well. Let me get some photo cards out. This month we kind of wind up with a lot of smaller photos. These were 5.5 by 3.5 mats, all three of them on this side. And this one was a 5 3/4 by 3 3/4, 8.5 by 6.5 again. And like I said, I think journaling would make sense up here. You can add a smaller photo as well if you want, and then just journal around your actual photos through your page. By doing the 8.5 by 6.5 mat, I did leave space for a couple of 4 by 6 photos. Whoops. On this page, you can just link them closely here. And again, don't be afraid to cover up your letter there. You can still read it. You can put your photos together if you want, or you can add a little bit of separation. You will have enough for just a little bit of a border if you do the larger photos on the left side. But there you go. I wonder if you could even get a larger one there. Yeah, you could squeeze in a 4 by 6 over here if you really wanted to. But I do like the slightly smaller, especially since you are going to have smaller photos here as well. Okay, well, we made it through another year worth of virtual crops. I hope you all enjoyed watching my sketch interpretations again this year. I've done it every year for the last several years now, and it's one thing that I will definitely continue in 2026. I really enjoy working with the virtual crop sketches to give you all extra ideas of things you can do with them. So don't forget the Monday before on my community tab, you will find what collections you can vote on that you would like to see the most. And we'll work it out from there. Of course, you can always add a comment if there's one you really want to see. Other people might like your comment, and we might wind up adding in an extra collection or a one that isn't on the poll. So I will see you all next time.